It's finally here! Welcome to DEPHEMEREMBER 2022! We are on our first day of DEPHEMEREMBER, a December daily series hosted by my friend Louise Heinzel and myself. This is a December daily series for making ephemera in December. You get to watch 2 videos every day from December 1st to the 25th in which Louise and I make ephemera for our junk journals. This year we also made an ephemera idea junk journal for each other to add our ephemera into. Not only to give a home to the ephemera we make, but also to have a journal to flip through for future inspiration. Below this video, you can find a playlist with all videos in this series, including the making of the cover of the junk journal I made for Louise, as well as the unboxing and flip through of this treasure from Louise. I did get a little emotional in that unboxing. Also, you will find Louise's playlist linked below, so you can always watch her video for the same prompt right after this video. I always think it's fun to see how differently prompts can be interpreted. Also, we will have goodies, freebies, and a giveaway mixed into our video, so it's definitely worth watching both videos to the end because you never know when the next surprise will pop up. In Louise's playlist, you can also find the video where she unboxed the journal I made for her, by the way. But most importantly, you can also find our prompt list and an animal freebie linked below in case you have not downloaded those yet. And if you have any other questions about how DEPHEMEREMBER works, please refer to the info video, which is also included in that playlist linked below. So let's get into it. So we have these paper bags. This is number 1. So I decorated these paper bags in a separate video, which is in that DEPHEMEREMBER playlist linked below, in case you want to see how I made these using jelly plates and stencils. So let's check which animal we have today and, more importantly, which snack. So in that recent info video, I mentioned that we have snacks from 15 different countries, and today's snack is an American one. So this is Reese's Big Cup. I know the regular Reese's peanut butter cups, which I like. I've never had one of these big ones. I'm assuming it will taste the same, just in a bigger version. And our animal for today is the hedgehog. But before we tackle this challenge, let's get some energy. So let's see what this tastes like. Maybe you prepared your own snacks. I hope you're having something very yummy. So it looks like a huge Reese's peanut butter cup. Let's try it. I can smell the peanuts. Let's see. I like it. Very yummy. I love the combination of the salty and the sweet of the chocolate. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, I would rate this an 8. That's a pretty good start, I would say. This will give me enough energy to tackle this challenge. Let's do this. When I think of hedgehogs, the first memory I have of hedgehogs is in my grandmother's garden. And in the garden, she had a fountain which went into the ground. So it was level with the ground and then it went lower. And since these cute little hedgehogs have very poor eyesight, a lot of times they would fall into that fountain. And the first thing I always did when I went into the garden was to check if any of the hedgehogs had fallen in. It wasn't that deep, but they could not get out on their own. So whenever I found a hedgehog in the fountain, which actually never had any water in it, now that I think of it, I don't think I've ever seen it with water inside. Thank goodness, because they would have probably drowned. I would just take them out and put them back on the grass farther away from the fountain in the hope that they wouldn't fall back in. But I don't really have that much knowledge of hedgehogs, so I wanted to look up some facts because I always think it's fun to learn more about animals in particular. And interestingly, there are 17 individual species of hedgehogs. I had no idea. Their common name comes from how and where they find food, since they're often found foraging for insects and worms and other small creatures in shrubs and hedges. And the hog portion of the name comes from their small pig-like snorts they make as they forage. The habitat of the hedgehog ranges from the savannas of Africa to grasslands, as well as in woodlands, meadows, and even gardens across Europe and Asia. And a fun fact that I also didn't know was that they're actually capable of swimming and even climbing trees, which of course allows them to get around woodlands much easier. And as for what they eat mostly ground-dwelling insects like beetles or caterpillars. They also eat other types of invertebrates like slugs and worms. And other food sources also include frogs, I did not know that, fungi, small snakes, lizards, and snails. So what can we do with this? Fluff, mason jar, and a hedgehog. As mentioned, you can leave the hedgehog out. You can use your own hedgehog picture. Maybe you have a photo of one. Maybe use another animal. Maybe you use another focal image. You do you, and you do what makes you happy. This is just inspiration. So we need a mason jar. And to make our lives a little bit easier, I decided let's start off with a bang. And here is your first freebie, a mason jar freebie. So you can just print this out. The link for this is below. There are mason jars in various sizes for you to play around with. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out this hedgehog and then decide which mason jar, if any, I'm going to use. I just want to mention again, Louisa did such a fabulous job with these adorable cards. This was all her. She looked for the images. She designed the cards. Thank you again, Louisa. This is absolutely fabulous. Of course, you don't have to cut him out. You can use the card as is as well. I mean, it's beautiful. You can either follow my steps of what I'm doing today, or you can come up with your own version. And just a reminder, we would love to see your creations on social media. So whether you post a video or an Instagram post, please use the hashtag DEPHEMEREMBER so we can all enjoy each other's creations. Okay, so we have a cute little hedgehog. Which jar would we like to use with him? So one thing I know I do not want to do is to put him inside the jar. Because why? Why would I put him in the jar? Poor little guy. I want him to be free. So I want to sit him on top of the jar. So either on this one, that would be a really good option, or this one. But with this one, I'm afraid if he falls off, he might hurt himself. So I think I use this smaller jar. And I have a feeling the lines of this jar are a bit thick. It looks more like a comic illustration and it doesn't really fit to our vintage hedgehog in my eyes. So instead, I'm going to use a piece of transparent paper. And I'm going to trace this mason jar. I'm going to use a micron pen in 0.5. I'm not going to trace this line here. I don't think I need that. So there's my wonky looking jar. I want the lid to look metallic since these jars tend to have metallic lids a lot of times. There are several ways we could do this. One would be to use some gold or silver metallic acrylic paint if you have. Another option would of course be metallic watercolors or a metallic marker. Another option might be to use a metallic paste like this. But what I'm going to do is to use embossing powder. So I have this golden embossing powder from Hero Arts. And I also have an embossing pen. I'm going to add this pen to just the lid. And I'm not going all the way to the black marks. I still want those to be visible. It's kind of hard because I don't really see very well where I'm going with the pen. But I hope this is going to work. I'm going to work fast because I don't want this to dry before I add my powder. And I guess if I miss any spots, I can always go over it again with more embossing powder. Oh, not bad. I think this is fine. How about that? So we learned before that one of the things that hedgehogs like to eat are fungi, which of course are mushrooms. So why not add mushrooms into this mason jar for our little hedgehog? And in case you need mushrooms, I can offer you these. So today you get a freebie and a goodie. And this goodie is 50% off in my shop from today, December 1st to December 31st. And the code you need to enter at the checkout to get this discount is DEF2022MUSH. And you can find the link to my shop below. So let's see what mushrooms we would like to use. I think these here would be better. Let's check on the size of what would work. Oh, this one would be great. Oh, even this one. We could also add, of course, more than one. I really like this one here. Yeah, I think that's perfect. And we could maybe also add this one or even this one in the back. So I'll cut out both this one and this one. Here they are. I have inked up the edges with my vintage photo. So let's see how they would look in the jar. That's a lot of fun. We could even add another one here. Let's see on this page. What about these right here? Let's try that. I'm going to use a craft knife to cut out this little part in the middle here. So I'll just ink this up. Okay, let's add this. Something like this. Yes, I think that's super cute. So next I'm going to cut out my mason jar. I'm leaving a little bit of a border so that I don't cut into my black line. But for the jar, I'm actually going to cut it very close to the line because I have an idea for what to do with that. So now I want to check out which page I can add our jar to. Oh, I'm so lucky to have such an amazing journal made by Louise. Oh my goodness, I wish I could share this with you also in a tactile way, not just a visual way. Oh, by the way, and I have to mention, you of course know this if you've seen Louise's flip through of her journal and her thoughts. What I didn't know when I unboxed this journal is that this, how could I not think of it? Do you know what this is? Especially with the hint, moi, moi. You know, at the end of my videos, I send these two kisses and I have these two panda bears. And this is a panda bear. And Louisa made this using, I think, 2 different die sets or even more. I don't know. How cute is this? And I didn't get it. I'm so sorry, Louisa. I don't know why. Once I knew, I was like, of course. It's so logical. He's such a sweetheart. As is Louisa, of course. Okay, so I want a background for this jar where it looks like the mushrooms are in their natural habitat. So something either earthy or green foliage, something like that. This would work, but this is not a good place to put the jar. And if you're seeing this for the first time and you're wondering about these beautiful papers, you can see the links to all these papers in Louise's flip through of this journal, which is in Louise's playlist, which is linked below. This makes me happy somehow. This one would work. That would be really good. Yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. This is the very earthy version. Also beautiful. This journal. I have looked through this so many times by now, as you can imagine. I couldn't wait to start working in this. Oh yeah, and then of course we have our scrap stash. I believe this is from a tea, is it? I don't know. I haven't seen Louise's flip through yet, so I don't know yet where she got her ephemera from, but I think this is a tea. So maybe you remember, or maybe you know, Louisa and I had decided to add 30 or 50. No, I think 30. That's probably why it says 30 here. Pieces of scraps in each other's journal to use as we please. So maybe we can use something from here as well in the jar, because I want to make something that resembles a ground for the mushrooms to stand on. So maybe some of these will work. So I'm taking them out. Super practical, Louisa, that you added the 30 here, because when it's closed, I can so easily find the tab where the scraps are. I was not that smart. So I'm sure Louisa has a harder time finding my scraps. This is so cute. Bling, bling. This one, I think this is it. It has like the perfect shape because it's more narrow. It has, I think, the perfect background color, plus a little bit of interest here with this cool white font. Yeah, I think this is the perfect page. How about that? Yes, this is it. Okay, let's check the scraps. Originally, I was thinking to add the scraps inside, but why not add them on top? There's some lace here. Oh, I'm loving that already. And maybe something darker. It is so fun to get someone else's scraps. Oh, this green would be really nice together with the background. Let's take a piece from here, some that has some gold in it, obviously. So if we put this underneath, and then some lace on top. Yes, let's cut this down a little bit. We also need to add some fluff, right? So I found this very cute fluffy fiber, and I think I'm just going to add some of this on top here. So the first thing I need to do is glue down the mushrooms, and I think I'm going to go a little bit farther down here. Yeah, so I lift this off. That's good. And then I make sure these stay in place. I'll just lift off bits and glue them down before they move too much. And then I want these mushrooms to stand out a little bit more, so I want to give them a kind of a glow. So I'm going to use some white gesso. You can also use white paint if you want to do this, and outline them and then kind of just fade it out. I just need to be careful that I don't use too much white gesso, because I'm limited with how far I can fade it out because of the shape of the jar. I don't want to go outside of the jar shape. Let's see if we can manage. Okay, let's see if it's visible after we add the jar. Barely. Not sure it was worth that, but okay, I gave it a try. So my idea behind this mason jar is to have some food for our little hedgehog in case he gets hungry and he can't find any food, especially now in winter. So I want to keep these safe from him, but I also want him to have access to them. And if they're sealed up in this jar, how is he going to get to them? So I'm going to cut off the lid, which is why I wanted to cut closely around the lid. So now we can adhere this part. This is going to stay together. And I think the best way to adhere vellum or transparent paper is with double-sided tape. Or maybe a tape roller would be even better. I just had another idea. Wouldn't it be cute to use a mason jar as like a shaker card thing? Or not a card, but you know, a shaker element. We could have cut out a lot of small mushrooms and maybe added some sequins or something. That would have been cute. So I will glue this on. Now we can add these here. So the way I'm envisioning this is, this lid needs to be removable, and a little hedgehog is going to sit on top, and he also needs to be removable so he can jump off, open the lid, and get to the mushrooms. And the way to do that would be to use magnets. I should have definitely checked this before I decided on this page. But I think I am in luck, because on the back here we have this absolutely stunning belly band. And I'm hoping that I can manage to get the magnets underneath this belly band, which would be the ideal thing. I think I need to make the lid more sturdy, so I'm going to adhere that onto some cardstock. I'm again using double-sided tape for this. This is sturdy now. That is super helpful. And I think one magnet should be enough in the middle. So let's add one to the back here. I have these small but very strong magnets. I can link them for you from Amazon Germany. I'm assuming you can find something similar in other countries. They are quite flat. So let's add some glue here. Then put the magnet on top. I'm also going to take a piece of tape, just regular tape, and put that over just to make sure the magnet will not come off. And now the difficult part comes. Okay, so now we need to keep this where it should be, and we need to find, oh, I don't even know how to do this. How do I manage to put the magnet in the exact place I need? Okay, I think first I need some washi tape to adhere the lid temporarily so that it stays in place, so that I know where to put the other magnet. And now, this is not easy. Why did I do this? Sometimes I'm thinking I really need to think these things through. Maybe I don't need to put glue. Maybe I just need to put tape over it, because this way it will automatically go where it needs to go because of the other magnet. And then hopefully we will manage to put a piece of tape over it. Okay, so that automatically went where it should go. And let's take some tape and secure that in place. Would have been easier to choose a page that had nothing on the back, and then we could cover it later, of course, with something. But why do anything the easy way, huh? Okay, that should hold. Yep. So now if we take this off, and I just tore Louise's page a little bit. Yeah, so that will then automatically go in place. Maybe 2 would have been better, because then I wouldn't be able to turn it, which would have been smarter to do. Yeah, I don't like how much this is moving. Could at least add a second one. Or maybe we add 2 more. Let's add one here. Whoops. No, you don't belong there. These are strong, I'm telling you. Let's add the tape. Maybe the glue isn't even necessary. Maybe it's enough to just tape it down. Okay, let's find the spot. Oh, I have to tape it down because it's moving. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, now we got it. Let's add tape over that again. Yeah, now it's stable. Perfect. I don't need a third one. And now I need to also do the same for the hedgehog. And I think 1 is, well, is he going to wobble? He might wobble. So I'll add 2 for him as well. Didn't I just say we probably don't need the glue? Okay, so then again, let's place him where he needs to go. Secure him with some tape and find the corresponding parts. Oh, this is more difficult because it's all the way up where the belly band is glued. Oh dear. Can we make this work? Oh, nope. It's going to the other magnets. No. Okay, we got 1 and 2. Okay, now we just need to manage to get some tape in there. It's all the way at the oh no! 1 fell. Oh, that's why, because our hedgehog fell. You know what's happening? The magnets are magnetic to the belly band because Louisa used staples. Louisa, why? Oh no, now they're sticking to the wrong place. It's supposed to stick to the hedgehog magnet. Okay, I think we got 1. And now I need to tape that down. This is really more difficult than I thought. I struggled with this for about 10 more minutes and I gave up. So the hedgehog only has 1 magnet here. It's fine. So now the hedgehog can get off, open the lid because he's very smart that way. And then he can go inside to eat the mushrooms. And we can put everything back together. Note to self, check the back sides of pages if you're going to do something which involves the back side. And as a final touch, yes, exactly, we need gold splatters. What else? And for some more contrast, I'm also adding black splatters. And this, ladies and gentlemen, concludes prompt number 1. Fluff and mason jar. Successfully completed. I'm always amazed at how these prompts make you think in a different way and bring out creative thoughts that you would have never had without such a list. So I hope you have as much fun as I did. Go check out Louisa's video, check out the links, the freebie, the goodie, the playlist. It's all there in the description box. See you tomorrow. Love you guys.
Mwah, mwah.